Happy Friday, friend. I'm coming to you live from the great outdoors again. But it has the best lighting. Maybe it has the best lighting. We'll see which way. I like the outside. I know it doesn't work until I get a studio, but I like the outside. You get dog barking, you get birds singing. I got my dog barking at any given time. So I'm coming on today to tell you guys another story. And I entitled this one, "They Are Lying to You About Your Birth Story." So I was thinking about one of the most impactful stories in my life, and I have about 1 billion. If you really sit down and think about it, you probably have a lot of billion of them too. But I was going to get on and tell a little bit about my pregnancy and birthing story. It could be enough for like a 17-part series probably, but I'm going to give you the short version about, let's see, Ellie's almost 8 years old. So what are we talking about? 9 years ago, I found out quite by surprise that I was pregnant. I actually found out when I came back from my little sister's baby shower that I was pregnant. So after 7+ years of trying, 12 years total of being married, I found out by surprise that I was pregnant, which was great because I had my prayer. If anybody's ever struggled with infertility, my prayer was, Lord, I want to be a mom, and Lord, I want it to be a surprise. You know why I prayed those two things? Because when you go through infertility, nothing is a surprise. Like, you literally know. You count the days, you count the this. It's very scientific, it's very math, it's very this. There's no surprise factor in it anyway. There's nothing. Like, everything is like, it's not a surprise every month when you find out you're not pregnant. Like, there's no surprise. So I had a prayer answered from the Lord that I was pregnant with Ellie. So going back to the title of this, they're lying to you about your pregnancy story. Okay, so I had been trying to have a baby for 12 years, and then I found out I was pregnant, and I wanted to make sure that I had the pregnancy and the delivery and the hospital experience that I wanted, because I've talked to a lot of people and they were like, when I have another child, I'm going to do things differently. Well, guess what? I didn't even think I was going to be able to have a child, so I didn't think I was going to have an opportunity to do it over. I was not going to get a mulligan in this pregnancy journey. So I was going to get the pregnancy I want, and I knew I wanted natural childbirth, or at least try for natural childbirth. And every turn they would say, you can't do this because you're advanced maternal age. Well, that's crap. I was 36 years old. I was barely advanced maternal age. You can't do this because you have gestational diabetes. Well, yes, I can do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do this. You don't want to be a hero. Why would you want to be a hero? You just want, here's my favorite words, you just want a safe delivery. We want the baby to be all right. Well, guess what? More times than not, the baby will be all right. But we didn't have to do XYZ that they wanted to do because it was not their pregnancy. Here we go back to my advocacy that I didn't know that I was on this journey for. I wanted to make sure I had natural childbirth. I was not going to inject my child with a bunch of things when she came out. I was not going to put eye goop in my child. These are the things that we wanted, Danny and I wanted to have. I didn't want to have pain medicine. I did not want to have a lot of interventions. I didn't want to do a lot of things, and people kept telling me, well, this is how you do it. I'm just letting you know, we were taught growing up that you respect your authority, you respect your elders, you respect people that have letters after their names. Well, I'm going to tell you, you can be respectful, but you can also tell them no, and you can have the birth you want. You know, I went a natural child delivery, and they were like, well, what if you, and I was like, I don't even know what it feels like. I'm just going to let you know now that a UTI feels worse than natural childbirth, at least in my opinion, in my experience. So it was not that bad. I was glad I made that choice because drugs take a long time to get out of my body and make me really goofy. So that's where you come into you be an advocate for. I was an advocate for my unborn child. I wanted her to be able to come out without any drugs in her body. I wanted to be able to go through all my pregnancy without having to have too many interventions. I did not. My favorite is one, I have so many stories. They wanted to get me on the calendar for a C-section. Well, I hadn't even got to the point where I was ready to deliver anyway. Let's get your C-section scheduled. And I was like, they were like, which day would you like that? The calendar book's up. I answered them every single time. The day after I give birth to her that's the day you could put on the calendar to do a C-section. So I literally made it through all my whole pregnancy where they were badgering me. Hey, let's get on the calendar. 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 Never got on the calendar because she was going to come when she came. And literally, she was born at 40 weeks and 1 day. She literally came out the day after her due date with a lot of prayers because I was like, people are trying to take her and she's not ready to come out. And if, in my experience with a lot of people I've talked to, if you go through and you start doing inductions, then I wasn't going to get my goal of a natural childbirth because there's always things that happen. It takes too long. People get too patient. Doctors are too busy. This and that and the other. The hospital fills up. It's real busy. All of those things that you don't have to worry about because you plan out and you get to decide what you want to do. What you get to decide and carve out your life somewhere. I don't know, somewhere people told us that we're not in control. You know, right? I do answer to Jesus, but the rest of them, I'm in charge of carving out my life. Like, this is the pregnancy I got. It was a gift from God that I got to be pregnant. It was a gift from God that I got to carry a baby full term. So if this is the pregnancy and delivery I wanted, then that was the pregnancy and delivery that I was going to get. So that's where I was, and I came all the way to what I wanted. And you know, where along the way, if something would have changed, we would have evaluated all those things, but it didn't. Because I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you tell your mind, like, I'm going to have a natural child delivery, it don't know any difference. You're going to have a natural child delivery. A quick little side note, I tell my daughter all the time, you're the best problem solver you know. And you know I'm saying that word outside? Guess what? I'm the best problem solver I know now because I say that. My mind doesn't know any different. That's what's great about the brain. It is so literal. It doesn't know the difference. I mean, you could call yourself a jelly donut and your body will try to turn yourself into a jelly donut because it just doesn't know the difference. So, back to the title. Whatever in your life, especially if you're pregnant, you can have what you want. Just sit down and think about what you want and go out and get it. Sometimes you're going to have to armor up and you're going to have to go battle for what you want. But that's okay because that's part of your story. I literally sat here and told you some of our birth story because that was part of our story. It started out with 2 people that wanted a baby. Then it started out with 1 person that wanted natural delivery so she could bond with her baby afterwards instead of being high as a kite on drugs. I'm letting you know, if you just want to have fun, watch Cindy on some kind of drugs because it doesn't do any good. Another quick story in between to go along with this is, guess what? I used to take, Sudafed for a cold before I went and attacked my digestive system and went hardcore with it to change my whole life. That's another story. But I literally took like 1 Sudafed, took her car out of the garage, and backed right into my mom and dad's car, parked in the driveway. 1, I knew it was parked there. 2, I knew how to look out the window. But 3, it still does it because it makes me like high as a kite. There was another time, cold medicine when I was living at home. I dumped a whole glass of a soft drink in our answer machine because my hand just didn't make it to the glass in the right way. Like, you couldn't see it because it's just a little bit, like I'm just about over the counter cold medicine. So if you guys want to hear more about my birth story or you want to learn more about it, there is a nice little blurb about it on my website. And everybody knows that I have a very long last name, so my website, I made it simple. It's Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y, and then instead of writing the letter V, I said the letter V, so it's CINDYVEE.com. So Cindy V, but you're saying the letter V. There's my website, and you can find more about my birth story. And some other day, I will tell you some more about the actual labor and delivery day because it was a fun-filled, packed 7 hours of time. So you guys all have a great night, and I will see you all later. Bye.